Hey there, Art Love Lifers. Allison here. I'd like to finish up some thoughts that I had about weathering the storm. So this is Weathering the Storm Part 2. I took some time to gather some ideas that I've been assimilating over the last couple years. These are ideas that I've not only got swimming around in my head, these are ideas that I've actually been living out. So when I speak to you, I'm actually speaking to you from a place of personal experience, and that's what gives me the conviction to share what I'm sharing with you today. So let's talk a little bit more deeply about weathering storms. Here's what I'm not talking about. I'm not talking about situations of unjust abuse. I do believe that there are times in life, when we're experiencing something not good, something unjust, something emotionally difficult, where we need somebody to come in and rescue us, and we need to get out of those situations. This is not what I'm talking about. What I am talking about are seasons of financial difficulty where maybe everything breaks down and you feel like you've taken 2 steps backward. What I am talking about is maybe you're finally making a decision to set a boundary that makes yourself healthier and helps you out in functioning in a dysfunctional relationship. What I am talking about is taking a risk and changing a habit. What I am talking about is taking a risk and pursuing a dream. That could be a dream to have a family that has dinner together every night. That could be a dream to live in a new city. That could be a dream to be an entrepreneur. That could be a dream to adopt a child. Everybody has dreams. So what I am talking to you about today is about how to weather storms when you've made the decision to pursue a dream. So human beings have the tendency to avoid pain. And this is a good thing because it keeps us safe and it keeps us away from physical harm. But sometimes in life, we encounter a situation where we need to make a change, we need to take a risk, we need to pursue a dream, and we need to do life differently. We need to pursue life not business as usual. There might be some kind of broken record or a cycle in your life that keeps repeating itself over and over again, and you need to make a change so that you can get out of this unhealthy cycle. So somebody once said that the definition of insanity is to keep doing the same things over and over and over again and expecting a different result. So maybe you've decided to get off of that merry-go-round and you've decided to get out of that cycle of insanity, and you've decided to take a leap of faith. And it could be, like I said before, in any arena. But what I want to talk about specifically is sometimes what happens when we make that leap of faith and we take a risk and we do something different. We are more than likely going to encounter resistance. That's going to be the moment where we get tested. That's going to be the moment where we encounter storms, and we may be in trials and storms and difficulties that test us to such an extreme that it might cause us to doubt the reason why we even took the leap of faith. It may be so extreme that we feel tempted to go back to our old comfort zones. And we might feel restless in those old comfort zones. We might feel claustrophobic in those old comfort zones, but at least they're familiar, right? But what I want to say to you today, I want to encourage you, because however cruel the storm may seem, however difficult the temptation might feel in the midst of the storm, the temptation to go backwards, the temptation to go back to where you were in your comfort zone, what I want to tell you today is don't turn back. Don't turn back. This is your opportunity to run into the arms of God and to know Him in a way like you've never experienced Him before. With Him, you can weather this storm. It's in the storm where we get the opportunity to rise up to a new level of growth and strength. So here's some questions that I've asked myself over the last couple of years and that you may want to ask yourself and ask God. Some of these questions have to do with identity and character traits. Actually, most of them do. So the first one is, question number 1 is quite simply, God, what are you up to? You could have prevented this storm, so you've allowed it to happen. What are you up to here? What's going on in this storm? Question number 2, what are the character traits that I'm developing? Are the situations that I'm facing, these difficulties, the storm, is it refining some aspect of who I am? Is it creating more fruit in my character? Is it leading to the fruits of the Spirit in my life? More love, more patience, more kindness, more goodness, more faithfulness, more steadfastness and endurance, more discipline, more self-control. So is there a character trait that I'm developing? That's question 2. Question 3, and this is kind of multifaceted, is what is it that God is showing me about his character? Or in other words, what facet of himself is he trying to reveal? And God is good, and God is a provider. So what is God trying to provide for me in this scenario? What does he want to provide for me in this scenario? You see, there's a glory aspect of God. God's glory is his goodness. And so there's a glory aspect of God that really can only be seen in storms. It can only really be revealed in storms. And so when the wind is contrary and we're being tossed around in our little ship of life, tossed in the waves, tossed in the storms, there is a glory aspect of God that can only be seen in these situations. And so what I've learned is to ask him, what is it that you want to show me in this season? In fact, that's even why I wear this little pin on my jacket, is just as a reminder. It's a little ship, and it's just a reminder for me that when I'm in a storm, or when I'm taking risks, or I'm just traveling through this vessel of life, I get to experience overcoming storms. I get to experience the fact that these storms are going to bring me more strength. And I get to experience the perception that I can be victorious. So what this has done for me is it's actually helped me to see myself as more of a warrior, to see myself as someone who can be victorious, instead of looking around at my storms and having a victim mentality and doing woe is me, poor me kind of stuff. It's helped me to remain positive. I'm not saying that I don't have difficult days, but these questions and this perception has helped me to overcome, to get stronger, and I can see the fruit in my life where it's refining me. It's making me more and more free of a negative mindset. And for that, I'm very grateful. So if you're weathering a storm right now because you've decided to pursue a dream, I just want to encourage you, don't give up, and start to think about these things. Ask yourself, what is the character trait that you're developing? Ask God, what are you up to? And ask God, what is it about your character that you want to show me? Who do you want to be for me? What do you want to provide for me? You know, when the disciples were out in the boat and they encountered a storm and Jesus came walking to them on the water, he calmed the storm eventually, but he didn't at first. He allowed them to be in that storm. And Peter said to him, Lord, if it's you, call me out onto the water. And so Peter started to walk towards him on the water. He took that risk. He got out of the boat. He took that risk and he went towards Jesus. And it was only when he took his eyes off Jesus and focused on the storm that he started to sink. And man, this is such an amazing metaphor for the storms of life, because I've found again and again, when I focus on my circumstances, when I focus on the storm, instead of on these questions, instead of on what character traits am I developing, who does God want to be for me? What is he trying to show me about his character? When I take my focus off of that, when I take my focus off of God, off of the positive, that's when I start to sink. So I share all of this with you today in the hopes that it helps you to stay buoyant, and also in the hopes that it helps you to never give up. So I just want to thank you for listening, and I hope that this blesses you. If you like what you hear, please subscribe to our channel and be sure to give us a thumbs up. Thanks again. Take care.